So as the evenings get colder here, as we head towards the end of August, it's time for me to start thinking about firewood. So I thought I'd take a walk down into the trees behind the house, an area that I've got some firewood out of last year, see what there is for me to work with, see how much I can get this year, start planning how I'm going to get that firewood from the bush back up to the house behind the garage, where I can start cutting it up into to lengths and getting it split for the year. So I figured I'll take a walk and I'll talk about what's involved with the firewood and some future plans that I'm excited about that'll involve a bandsaw mill and some projects that are on the list once I start getting some lumber. So we're into the last part of August now. I think today's like August 20th. It's still warm during the days, but the nights are starting to get cooler. That means it's firewood time again. We primarily heat through the winter with firewood. We have electric backup, but if I don't have firewood for the winter, I can add several $100s to the electric bill, so it's definitely worth bringing in firewood. Last few years I've been getting it out on Crown land, but started looking around a little more on the property. Found some areas that have quite a few dead pine, a few dead spruce. So starting last year I was getting our firewood off of the property itself. So I'm just gonna head into the area where I got some wood last year, have a walk around, identify some more trees. I'll probably need to get somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 10 or 12, maybe 14 trees out to get our wood for making it through the winter. We'll start using fires in the house usually early part of October, and we'll end up running fires probably about 7 months of the year, I guess, is we'll use some sort of fire or wood heat in the house, and then for the rest of the year the outside temperature is good enough that we don't have to worry about it. But more than half the year we're looking to have some firewood in stock. That uses up quite a bit of firewood, as you can imagine. And I've made the mistake of not getting enough and had to been out in the middle of the winter to find some trees to cut down and bring home to buck up into firewood. And it's not the most entertaining going out at, you know, minus 20, minus 25 Celsius, cutting down trees and dealing with snow that can be waist deep. But hopefully this year get enough in that I don't have to worry about getting any during the winter, but at least when it's on the property, that makes it a little bit easier as well. I don't have to worry about driving down the logging roads and finding somewhere where I can get the truck far enough off the road that it doesn't cause a problem for the logging vehicles and other public traffic. So this area that I'm in now, this is where I've been getting the firewood. I started, you can see that trail off behind me there. I started with a couple trees just last week, I guess it was. I pulled a couple out. But I figured I'd come back into this area, have a look around, see what else there is for dead standing trees. I know there's a couple pockets up the hill a bit that are full of dead standing. I'm just not quite sure how I'm going to get up there yet with the tractor to be able to pull them out once I fall them. I seem to recall from some drone overflights in this area that there's maybe a couple more dead ones down in the flatter area down here that's easier to get to with the tractor. So I'll have a look around, see what I can find, mark some trees, and then come back in, clear a little bit of the brush and stumps out of the way if needed to get the tractor close enough, fall the trees, and then I haul them up to the garage. Right now I've got a bandsaw mill on order. I ordered it this spring, but with the COVID delays on manufacturing and shipping, their estimated delivery isn't until the end of September or sometime in October. but I'm hoping I get them early enough, or get the sawmill soon enough that I can do some milling before the winter really sets in. But I have some ideas of where I can put the mill that I can maybe still use it even in the winter. I have a garage I built a few years back that's tall enough and wide enough, I think, that I can probably do some milling in it if needed this winter, because I don't want to get the sawmill and then just have it sit all winter long not even using it and then not know if there's any issues with it. So I'd like to get it and get it set up and actually use it before next spring. So I'll try and find some way to set up the mill somewhere so I can use it this winter. And part of these firewood logs, if they're not too checked up, because I'm getting dead standing, I'm thinking I'll probably take like maybe the 10 or 12 feet off the butt end of each log, save that for milling, and then the rest of the log can get turned into firewood. I'm also saving some green logs that I've cut down, some small ones in another area that I'm clearing the trees off of. So I'll have some wood to test the mill on this winter anyway. But let's have a look around here in the forest, see what we can see for dead trees, and identify some that we can maybe fall and skid out. Aspen's not really what I'm looking for at this point in time. I haven't tried it myself, but from what I've heard, it burns awfully fast. And I'm looking for something that's going to last a little bit longer in the stove. Don't want to stoke up the stove when we go to sleep and then have it be out of wood in 2 hours after we started. So I see there's a dead one there. That'll be pretty easy to get to with the tractor. We'll keep an eye on that one, see what else we can find through here. I know when we get up that hill there ahead of us, it goes up, there's lots of dead trees up there, but that's what I'm not quite sure yet, how I'm either gonna fall the trees and then be able to get enough rope or cable up there to bring the trees down, or get a bit of a trail made so that I can get up there. There's quite a few dead trees up in that patch. Yeah, if I look through, so here's the one that we saw from back below. It's a decent size. There'll be some firewood in that, and that one's more than low enough. I can fall that and it'll just go down there. I can get that out with the tractor easy. But once we get too much higher up this hill, we'll start running into some issues. I usually don't take dead down because they tend to be quite wet from absorbing through the ground, but something like this, where it's up off the ground, I think it'd probably be worth pulling out and having a look. There might be, it's pretty solid still. It's a decent size. If I fall this one here, I could maybe take this little one here. There might even be some in that, so I could maybe pull these out as well, cut them up, see how rotten they are or whether they're still fairly solid. See, once you get up here further, kind of gets into some blowdown of these old snags. See, they're all pine. We had a big pine beetle blow up in population a few years back, and most of the mature pine in the province really got killed off. So all this dead stuff up here is all pine that was attacked, and the live stuff is pretty much, for me on this property anyway, spruce. But see, these pine stems, they're big. There's a lot of firewood in that. And just in this one little spot, we've got, there's a dead pine back there. There's that one on the ground that's probably good because it's up off the ground. There's another one here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one right here that I'm next to, 10. There's another couple there. We have like a dozen trees right here in this little pocket. I just got to figure out how do I get them from here down to the main trail so that I can skid them up to the house. That'll be the trick. Some of these ones, like the ones down here below me, they're far enough down the hill that when I fall them, I'll be able to attach to the tops, because they'll go down quite a ways. But when I start getting back up into here in these ones, I'm not going to be able to do much to get them down the hill. I'm just going to have to be able to run a cable or a rope all the way up here to skid them down. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work yet. I'll have to look into maybe making a bracket on the tractor that I can attach, have a small quad winch, if I can attach that to the tractor somehow. Or I might have to look into getting some sort of gas-powered winch. Because this hill here, it's too steep for me to make a trail up. I'd have to, for the tractor that is, I'd have to find some way around or side slope it, and I don't really want to cut a physical road, like side trail, or have to cut into the ground. I was just looking for something where I can go along the surface with the tractor. There's a lot of wood right here though. Like, there's enough wood in this one little spot to easily make it through the winter, and probably leave a little bit left over for next year. I just have to figure out how to get it all out. While editing this video, I realized just how long it was going to be, and I've decided to split it into 2 parts. The second part will have me discussing an issue that I'm having with the Osmo Action camera, and a little bit more detail about some future projects that I have in the works on the bandsaw mill over the next year or 2. If you've enjoyed this content, I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing, and I'll talk to you later.